National 5 biologists join me to do this past paper question together. So this one says, an investigation was carried out into the effect of modifying cotton plants on the yield of cotton. 3 farms had 2 fields of cotton, one of each type, original and modified. The yields of both types were recorded and the results are shown in the table. So we've got 2 types of cotton here. We've got the yield of the cotton on each of the 3 farms. And what we have to do here is to calculate the percentage increase in yield when using modified cotton in farm 2. Okay, so we're interested in farm 2 here. Now, we know that because this asks for a percentage increase, we know what we need to do here. Hopefully, we know this anyway, is the change over the original times 100, okay? That's what we do to calculate the percentage change. So this one's a percentage increase and we use the exact same technique. So it goes from 240 up to 138. So the change will be 348 minus 240. And that will go over the original, so it started at 240. And then we'll times that by 100. And when you plug all that into your calculator, this side here will be 0.45. And then we times that by 100, and that will give us 45%. Okay, so that's going to be the percentage increase there. B, part 1, identify the variable altered in this investigation. Now, when you're given the aim of an investigation, it usually starts off with these words, the effect of. Okay, so we know that that's our aim. Now, our aim contains 2 bits of information that are important to us as biologists and as people answering these questions. And the first one is the thing that we are going to change, okay, or alter. Okay, and we call that the independent variable. Okay, that's the thing that we change. Okay, so that's the modified cotton plant, okay, or the original type, okay, because there was 2 types, wasn't there? And the dependent variable is the thing that we measure. That's going to be the yield of cotton, okay, that's the dependent variable. That's what we measure in an experiment. So this one's asking us to identify the variable altered, i.e. changed in this experiment. So it's going to be the modifying of the cotton plants, okay? Or you could put that simpler and say the type of cotton plant. That would be an acceptable answer too for that one. Okay, the type of cotton plant, because we used 2 types, didn't we? We changed from the original to the modified type. Part B, suggest a variable that would have to be controlled to ensure validity. So what would we have to control in this experiment to ensure it was valid? Well, things like the number of plants or seeds would be a good start. Other options include the spacing between seeds or plants, because again, we know that plants obviously will compete with each other, don't they? So having that spacing right ensures that competition isn't a factor that affects the results. There are lots of other things as well, though. You can talk about the pH of the soil, the area or size of the field, the time that it's been left to grow, or anything similar to that, okay? All of these would be acceptable. But that's the one I always go to immediately when I'm thinking about plant-based ones, okay, is the number of plants that we use. Part C, the field planted with the original type of cotton was used as a control. Give a reason for the using a control in this investigation. Okay, so the use of a control. Now, I always teach my students to remember COCO, okay? The purpose of a control is so that we can compare both with and without the thing we're investigating. Now, what we're investigating here is the effect of modifying the cotton. So we are going to compare with without the modified cotton. Compare with and without the modified cotton and the yields produced, okay? I probably should have put this first actually in my sentence, but Never mind, we've got the message in there, okay? So we're comparing with and without the modified cotton and the yields that are produced in each field as a result of that. Okay, and lastly, describe how the reliability of these results could be improved. So for reliability, I always teach my students to remember ReRe. Okay, reliability, repeat. Okay, so it's about repetition usually, the answer to this question. So this is a straightforward one. Once you remember ReRe, how do we improve the reliability? We repeat the investigation. Okay, or we repeat the experiment if it's an experiment. Okay, you could say that you increase the number of fields or use more fields or something similar to that to get the mark as well. But repeat the investigation is a nice, easy one to remember. Okay, and it falls in nicely with our memory aid there, which is to remember ReRe, reliability, repeat, and then also remember COCO, control, compare. And if you remember that, you're going to get yourself a few marks in the exam just from remembering those couple of memory aids. So do yourself a favour and memorise those for your exam. Okay, folks, hope that helped. See you in the next one.